Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Leadership Nugget of today. It is a pleasure to be with you one more time. And today I want to share a very interesting topic, and that is about the heart of a leader. There are different characteristics of the heart of a leader, and I want to talk about one specific one, right? And that is that every leader needs to prepare uh, their heart. All right, so let's start talking about it. As you know, one of the most important things that we as leaders must do is to prepare our hearts, because the condition of our hearts will determine the motivation that we have to lead others and also the way we lead them. The motivation is always important because that will take us either to the right way or to the wrong way. So, for this reason, it is important that we all take a deep look into our hearts and see what the condition of it is. Every time that we are promoted and we gain more influence over people, we have a bigger responsibility to have a deeper relationship with God, because that relationship will change and transform our hearts, and they will be right and they will be ready for us to be able to lead people. Now, in order to for this to happen, it is important for us to have intimacy with God. Wherever there is intimacy, there will always be a fruit. So, what are we having intimacy with, right? Having a deep, close relationship with someone um, will always change us and transform us, right? So, the fruit that we are producing. Uh, Is it good quality fruit or it is not? Is it coming from God or is it coming from flesh? So that is a very important question for us to ask. Um, um, the seed that God wants us to plant in other people will always be love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Those are the fruits of the spirit, right? And they are found in Galatians 5. So these are the fruits that God wants us to produce. And how are we going to produce those fruits if we are not having that close relationship with them? We need to produce them first in order for us to have the seed. The seed is always wrapped around the fruit. So if we're producing that fruit, then we will have a seed that we will be able to plant into other people's hearts. So that's why it is important that we always make sure that that fruit that we're producing is actually coming from God and not from the flesh. Now, having that relationship and having that heart transformed will also bring some other, let's say, benefits. He will reveal his plans to us, his plans for our lives, for our ministry and family, and of course for the people that we're leading. Um, the same way in the account of Genesis 18:15, where God reveals his plan to Abraham about Sodom and Gomorrah and what he would do right with them. And he did not trusted Abraham with that plan only because he wanted to gossip or he wanted to share something, but because he had an intention. He wanted Abraham uh, to intercede for his nephew who was living there. So God will always put us in those situations in which we are going to be able to intercede, right? To bridge the gap between God and people. That's what He wants us to do as leaders, and but we will only be able to do so if our hearts are right before Him. Abraham was called His friend, and that's why he was able to trust Him with these plans. Also, He will give us a higher vision. When he gives us a vision, it is not for us to keep for ourselves, but to share with others. The same case, uh, you know, as in Elijah's servants, right? When they were surrounded by the enemy in Second Kings 6, they were surrounded by the enemy. His servants was so worried about it, and he prayed. He prayed for his servants' eyes to be open. And when he did that, and he was able to see God's army behind the enemy's lines, and that brought peace to his servant. So that vision that we acquire when we are getting our hearts right before God and we are having that relationship will give us that vision for us to share with others, which sometimes will bring peace, sometimes will bring direction to them. But that is always important that our hearts are aligned to God's heart, right? That way we will be able to acquire that vision and then in turn share it with others. And of course, the beginning of all of this is to have that contrite heart. Psalm 51:17 says that the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, and that He will not despise a contrite heart. So, of course, we know we're not perfect and we make mistakes. And whenever we do, we need to be humble and come before Him and lay all of those burdens that we have, or mistakes or errors or sins, to bring them before Him, right? And then He will be able to touch our hearts and remove everything that is not right. That is the moment that we are growing, and then something is producing within ourselves that then we will be able to share with others. All of these that we have shared, they always must go along with three important disciplines that we must have. And that, of course, I'm sure that you already know, which is the Bible reading every day, daily prayer. As Daniel, he would pray in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. So we need to do that in order to have that relationship with God. And finally, fasting. Fasting will allow our flesh to diminish and let Christ grow within ourselves. And that is actually what we want to do. We want people to see Jesus in us. We don't want them to see us. Every leader must not draw people's attention to himself, but we need to take their attention to God, to Jesus, because He is the one who will actually guide them, right? So I hope that you have liked this video, and if you have any comments or questions, let me know, all right? And I'll be happy to talk to you. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care and God bless.